Welcome with Jesus Bible Study. We're going to be in the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 7. Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. And I'm going to repeat that. Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Paul knew firsthand, that what was once taught is the old wine, and that Jesus not only brought but was the new wine. Meaning that the old teachers can be the leaven in the bread. And we need to take the leaven out of the bread, because one little lump of leaven unleavens the whole bread. And just like in the Passover, we need to eat the unleavened bread. And what exactly is going to deeper meaning of just what it's referring to, because a lot of people still will not understand. And what that means is that, see, Paul was a very educated man when it comes to the old ways. The problem wasn't that the word was wrong. The problem was that the way of the teachings was wrong due to lack of understanding the wisdom in the mystery of the word. And many of us have that same problem. And that problem is called religion. That problem is called denominations. See, just like the Pharisees and Sadducees, they too was very intelligent of the word. But yet both of them believed differently. One believed one way and one believed the other way. So how is that possible that you have two different beliefs but one word? The same thing when it comes to these denominations. You can't have one church center saying, oh, well, we believe this way, and the other church saying, no, we don't believe in that. We believe in this. The problem is that it's what they want to believe, but they're not believing the word, because the word doesn't change. It's the people that change the word. We can't change the word to suit our needs, to satisfy, to control. And it's exactly what religion and denominations have done. They have taken the word and used it for their benefit, used it for their power, to control and to rule over the people. But God is about freedom. And He isn't about control. If God wanted to control us, we wouldn't have free will. He wouldn't be breaking the chains that bind us to sin and to the world. This world wants to have you to believe that if you are following Christ and His word, that you are more or less a slave that is bound with all these rules, that you can't do this and you can't do that. That if you live in this world, you're free to do whatever you want. But it's quite the opposite. It's quite the opposite. Just because God's laws and rules are in place doesn't mean that we don't have freedom. They're set for protection. The freedom, what it's so-called when it's being in the world of being able to do all this and that, is chaos. It causes harm. It causes all kinds of things. Now, just look at it as, if you had a child, would you just let it go and do whatever it wants? What kind of problems would it have? Would it get kidnapped? Would it get caught on fire by the stove? will it get eaten by an alligator or a dog because it just was roaming around and didn't have the manners and the respect to not go stick their hand in the alligator's mouth or to just run up to some random not very well behaved dog or a complete stranger that's just out to take that kid and take advantage of it. Since God's rules isn't there to harm us, it's there to literally almost set us free from this world, to protect us and to love us. The scripture tells us over again that we need to read this word for ourselves. Why? Because there's so much false doctrine out there. There's so many people, so many churches, so many pastors. Pastors that some of them don't even realize what they are doing in their teachings because they're following protocol. They're following a workbook. They're following what they have been told, so they are just being a parrot, passing along the information that they was told to repeat. I've known many pastors, and I'm not saying this is all pastors, but, and preachers, but I know a lot of them that has been in the pulpit teaching the word and yet have never read the Holy Bible for themselves front to back. Isn't that crazy? How are you going to be up here teaching the word and you've never read the whole Bible? I've heard one say one time, I haven't. Where is that? I haven't read that part yet. I haven't got to that part in Isaiah. How in the world have you not? Now, I know it's different when God has called you and you're new and you're coming in and you're just ready to share the gospel because you're on fire. And so you haven't quite got through it all yet. But you're still reading, and yet you're teaching along the way because you're doing what God has placed into your hearts, into your soul to do. So you're out there, but you're constantly in the Word. So how is it that these people who have been sitting on that pulpit for years upon years, there should be no excuse to the reason why you have not read that Bible through and through. Just like there should be no excuse, and I know it sounds kind of harsh, but this is truth and facts. People in certain religions would not be deceived if they had been in this Bible and read it from themselves. And you can't solely rely on, when you go to church on Sunday, for the preacher to give you this few verses and then tell you his interpretation of it. Because sometimes people take things out of context. Some do it purposely, some do it unknowingly. Some just don't understand the mystery. Some don't even know what they're talking about. They're just repeating what they was told to say. But if you had gone through and put the verses back into the chapter, back into that book, back into the whole book of all the books, you would read exactly what God is trying to say. And that was the problem with Paul before, when he was Saul. It was because he knew the word and he was on fire for God. He was zealous for it. He was ready to imprison all these people because he knew that they was doing blasphemy against his God, a God who he loved, that he was willing to do all these evil deeds until God showed him, hey, you may know the word, but you don't understand the word. Because you was taught this and you was so set on this. But if you get into the deeper meaning and if you have a relationship with me, then you can truly begin to understand exactly what I am telling you. And that's what Jesus revealed to him when he was blinded, he began to understand and undersee all the mysteries that he had missed from beforehand. So make sure that you are always in this word for yourself, so you will not be deceived.